I have some wonderful sisters in this congregation, and several of them have been helping with the Hebrew, giving me some great websites. And last week, Rika said she had a wonderful summary sheet giving the alphabet letters and how to write them, and I appreciate this, Rika. So what I'm going to do is set them on the stool over here for anyone that's interested to grab a copy, and it'll help you to learn the alphabet. I think there were like 20 copies, and I guess we felt like we only, I don't care, whatever.
If you want it, one per family, you can do all that. That'll work. That should work out.
They'll be here all the whole year. They're not going anywhere. So the Hebrew alphabet is very unique and condensed because our Heavenly Father made it. And I just want to do a quick review. We went over Aleph, and it represents an ox and its strength, and it represents God, and it has a value of 1. And Aleph, I'm repeating myself, but that's good. You learn that way. But the word Aleph also means 1,000. And I thought maybe that was alluding to God as incomprehensible. And I kind of thought in my little mind, thinking, does he have 1,000 names? And then the Lord must have spoke to me saying, you think you can put me in a box giving me 1,000 names? But anyways, I think there's something more to that. It'll be interesting to dig. So playing around, what happens if we reverse the letters in Aleph? You can see, sorry, I meant to hit the pointer. Which one? Aleph, Lamed, Fe. As you can see, it's just in reverse. It's Fe, Lamed, Aleph. We actually come up with a new Hebrew word. It means wonder, miracle, extraordinary, hard to understand thing of God's acts of judgment and redemption. So I thought that was, pretty wow. And you're familiar with Isaiah 9:6, and a child is born, and his name shall be called Wonderful. And so I put the Hebrew out so you could see that here's one of our letters we're going to go over today, the Vav. So it's Vayikra, that is, and he called Shemo, his name, Pele, and that is Aleph backwards, but it means wonderful. We learned Bet, and it makes 2 sounds, and I wanted to point out that it has a little tail, and this is really important. It's a small piece of a letter, but it has great implications. It'll also help you to differentiate another letter that we'll learn in the future. So look for the tail when you think it's Bet or Bet. I didn't mention last time that the letter Bet functions as a prefix, meaning when we put that one letter Bet in front of a word, that one letter Bet can mean in, or at, or to, and it's really just in the context of the sentence that you'll be able to figure it out. So I wanted to give you a word that you all recognize. It's Bereshit, and the B in the beginning there is, well, that was hilarious. I didn't mean to be punny, but the letter Bet in front of the word is for in. So you can see it's a condensed language. Then we learned our third letter, Gimel, which means camel, and it has a value of 3. Then there was Dalet, and it's the 4th letter, and it has a value of 4. All right, thank you. Then you learned Patak, and that was one of our vowel markers. And when Dr. Susan Hooker sees a flat line, she says, we need to do something about that. So then we learned the alphabet song. Remember, it's Aleph, Bet, Vet, Gimel, Dalet. Okay? So I'm just going to flip through and sing with me. Aleph, Bet, Vet, Gimel, Dalet. Hey, that's pretty good. And y'all knew the next letter too. It's Hey, and it makes the sound H as in hay, and it has a value of 5 because it is our 5th letter. When the hey is at the end of a sentence, end of a word, it is silent, just as in English, like Sarah, we don't pronounce that H. When the hey is in front of the word, it's a definite article, and don't let that word scare you. All that means is it's the word the. It indicates something specific in that word. So I wanted to give you an example of this fancy word, definite article. You have your hey here, and you know the patak, right? And you know what sound hey makes? The ha, ha. So now we have the patak, so ah, so it's ha. Remember, you always start at the top and work your way down, and then you start with the next word here, next letter, dagog, dog. So hadog. So what is this? What is this letter telling us? It is the, right? Very good. So, and dog. Do you remember that from last week? What was that? Woof woof. No, it's not woof woof. Fish, right. So you just said the word, the fish. Very good. Now, moving on to another letter we have is the vav. It's the sixth letter. It makes the sound V as in Victor. But the vav is a little tricky because it makes three sounds. And don't worry if you don't remember all this, because as we read some words, we'll see these vavs and we'll learn them as we go along. So it makes the three sounds, the V and O and U. So it's a consonant with a V sound, but it can also be a vowel. Look out. When you add a dot on top of the vav, it turns into a vowel and it makes the sound O and not vo. If you add a dot in the middle on the left side of the vav, it produces a U sound as in Google, or you could pretend like that's the belly and it's ooh. This is so hard to learn. It makes the ooh sound. And here's a word, I don't expect you to read it because we haven't learned that this is Samic. It makes the S noise. And but here's the vav in the middle, so we would make the oo sound. Here's the vav with the dot on top, and that makes the O sound, and you don't pronounce the V. And this is the word Sukkot. Sukkot. Yay! The meaning of vav is a hook or nail, and that's from the Paleo, and it looks like a tent hook. And it can function as a prefix, so when it's in front of a word, it stands for and. So here's an example in Genesis 1:2. You have the vav, and so that means it's saying and. You have your hey as a prefix, that means it's saying the, and then you have your word aretz. So what we just said was va ha aretz, so we're saying and the land, or and the earth. Aretz can be earth or land. The number 6 represents man. This is the 6th letter, so it's associated with 6. The function of a nail is to join two things together. And vav is a connector, as in the word and. And actually in the Torah scroll, it is written in big columns. And at the top of each column, do you know what they have? They have a vav. So it's and all that, and you have to keep reading and keep reading. So Yah used, reset. Yah used the nail vav on the cross to connect man back to Elohim. Shalom. Thank you.
Amen.